Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Big shout out to Daniel Thomas for donation to support our channel. You can support too, use our Ko-fi support link from channel page, thanks. Chapter 2532 Changes in Heaven and Earth 3. Black Dragon raised his eyelids and glanced at Zhang Yi, saying irritably, "Didn't our ancestor promise you something like this? Don't worry, with such a commotion, if our dragon clan doesn't show up, some people will think we're dead. The world is in chaos, and all races emerge, vying for the right to raise 7 generations of children. In such cases, if it can't be served at the table, it can only appear on the menu. Even the most aloof dragons cannot stand idly by while others bully their underlings." Besides, it was Fushi himself who said it. How could someone of his rank go back on his word? Zhang Yi finally felt completely at ease. It was nearly midnight when we returned to Tianhai City, but the entire city was still awake. The inner perimeter of the fortress was brightly lit, and the shadowy troops patrolled with extreme vigilance. Everyone knew that the big boss was coming, and they were all on high alert. Zhang Yi had everyone rehearse the evacuation operation one last time, making preparations for the worst before returning to his room. It was still the same soft bed he had slept in for 5 years, the same one used by a certain actress who had passed away, but it was really comfortable. The key feature is that it also has an electric function. Although Zhang Yi is in good physical condition and doesn't really need it, it can be used occasionally to add to the fun. Zhou Kur was wearing a black silk camisole nightgown, but she wasn't asleep. She was waiting for him to come back. Under the moonlight outside the window, her skin glowed white, and her long black hair cascaded down like a waterfall. Zhang Yi removed his armor and combat uniform, jumped onto the bed, and pulled her into a tight embrace. The two of them fell onto the pillow together. He rested his head against her soft, warm chest and slowly closed his eyes. "You must be very tired, right? It's okay. Everything will be all right. Now get some rest and a good night's sleep." "Good. I will definitely end these days, and we will live happily ever after. We won't always have to worry about an uncertain tomorrow. I know, I've always believed in you. Let's work together, you're not alone. If it's not a person, could it be a dog? Hee hee, what a lame joke." 3 days later. The red plateau of the Australian continent resembles a copper plate polished by fire, with newly formed reef chains extending from its edge into the sea. The venue was set up between the cliff and the sea breeze. The terraces were polished into a ring of stone platforms, with a flat area of limestone in the center for the various ethnic groups to set up their seats. The wind was weak at high altitudes, but the sky hung low. It's like a giant hand pressing down on the clouds, forcing people to keep their heads down. Despite the clear blue sky, the air pressure was frighteningly low, making it feel like you couldn't breathe. Representatives from various nations of the 6 generations of humanity, as the initiators of the negotiations, naturally arrived early to await the representatives of the various ancient civilizations. Benjamin Morgan of Colombia, dressed in a formal suit and adorned with jewels from head to toe, was not only a symbol of his wealth, but also of his power. Beside him stood a blonde woman holding a briefcase, looking somewhat uneasy. She was his secretary, Jessica. King Arthur of Britannia wore a blue and silver cloak, with the Knights of the Round Table lined up behind him, each with a solemn expression. Saladin, the emperor of the Khotan Empire, was dressed in black and gold armor, with intricate mechanical patterns visible through his sleeves. Behind him were only his Prince Emir and the Sage Herald, but hidden in the shadows beneath him were a large number of shadow demons. The representative of the Holy See was Cardinal Oleb, accompanied silently by the Knights Templar. While waiting, he still held the heavy Bible in his hands and prayed softly to God that the negotiations would proceed smoothly. Morana, the goddess of winter in Fremont, is as cold as a black panther, with an undisguised murderous intent in her eyes. Indra of Bharata clasped his hands together and smiled, seemingly unfazed by what was about to happen. Milwaukee Bladder of the Eye Organization rested his cane on his knees, his back straight, exuding the air of a true gentleman. These are the best of the best in the world today, spanning 6 generations. The scene was truly magnificent. They nodded to each other, but their gazes were simultaneously drawn to the airspace and the horizons in all directions. Why hasn't the representative from Hwashu Kingdom arrived yet? Someone frowned and asked. Wonder that chaos guy. He won't let us down at this crucial moment, will he? Morgan glanced at his communication device. He had sent a message to Zhang Yi, but Zhang Yi's reply was coming soon. Those familiar with the culture of Hwashu Kingdom know that the word immediately can mean anything, and it's hard to say how long it will take. Morgan didn't want to rush them, since they were all relying on Zhang Yi for support right now. The wind direction changed abruptly. A terrifying cyclone swept across the Australian continent from both the ocean and the sky, causing everyone in the venue to feel a sudden pause in their breathing. They're here. Representatives of an ancient civilization have arrived. They are demonstrating in this way. The sound of the tide from the deep sea does not come from the sea, but from underground. Boom! The earth split open, and a terrifying fissure stretched all the way until it appeared near the venue. The Abyss clan rose from the seawater along the newly opened crack. Its semi-gelatinous body undulated within its translucent shell, its color resembling spilled dark blue. Each individual is encased in a microwave-like protective membrane, leaving no footprints on the ground, and the salt mist it splashes flows back in midair on its own. The roar of wings flapping together echoed from the sky. The Skywing clan swooped down from behind the clouds, their wingspan as wide as a city, their feathers gleaming with metallic light, carving rows of fine grooves into the rock face as they flew. The lander retains its human form, with giant wings on its back, a long skull, deep-set eyes, and pupils that reflect light like knives. Several elders stood at the forefront, their feathered crests towering high, wind blades appearing and disappearing with every flap of their wings. In ancient times, they were beings that humans called pterosaurs. Wind and rain gather over the southeastern ocean. The Celestials did not descend, but rather formed. As atmospheric beings, they seemed to have no fixed form. A tower-like cloud pillar rose from the sea, with lightning rolling dimly at its core. At the foot of the cloud pillar, a thin, silvery gray island emerged, upon which several light and agile giant shadows, each the size of a cruiser, drifted. They resemble human figures but are not fixed in shape, as if the wind has built a skeleton for them. With each slight breath, the nearshore tide line pushes outward an inch. From another direction, a deep, resonant drumbeat echoed across the earth as the armored tribe marched in formation from the other side of the cliff. The thick carapace was layered on top of each other, like wrought iron drawn from rock strata. Each step caused the gravel beneath the stone platform to bulge outwards in a ring. The foremost individual was over 3 zhang tall, its back armor covered with craters from the passage of time, its arms like 2 armored side cannons, and its eyes deep black, devoid of emotion. The earth suddenly undulated like waves, not an earthquake, but something growing out of the ground. The visitors from the World Tree clan appeared in the form of a branch. A green gold bud broke through the soil and instantly grew into a tree trunk several meters high, with human-shaped structures hanging down from the edge of the canopy. Here ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive. Thanks.